Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Well, the GOAT has retired, and it's for real this time. Tom Brady, on a very emotional Instagram message this morning about 8:23, said, "I'm done. And the greatest player to ever play in the NFL, America's most passionate sport, will never play again." And his final pass, final touchdowns, final completions, all at Raymond James Stadium wearing a Bucs uniform. There's no doubt it's an emotional time for a lot of people, especially my partner over here. I get a little choked up, a little teary-eyed myself as I wear my Tom Brady jersey, and I'm not a jersey guy, my Super Bowl hat. And folks, it is a sad day in Tampa Bay, but not on this show, because we're going to celebrate what was the greatest moment in this franchise's history. The greatest to ever do it. And for generations to come, Tampa Bay sports fans and their kids and their grandchildren will know the story of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. The greatest to ever do it. And you know what? At the end of his career, he chose us. He chose us. Yep. The Yuccaneers, the 0-26, the butt of Johnny Carson monologue jokes. Dale Mabry known more for strip clubs. Not anymore. Because that's the house where Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in his own house, the first to ever do it. He chose us. And when he chose us, everything changed. Sure, Tampa Bay was well on its way. But it was not yet Tampa Bay. It was not yet Water Street. It was not yet the number one place to move in all of the United States, according to Forbes magazine. No, it wasn't that. He chose us. And everything changed. I mean, think about that. All those jokes, everything that we've known about Tampa Bay and the Yuccaneers changed because Tom Brady chose us and won a Super Bowl. So now, when we rename that Tom Brady Way, maybe not Dale Mabry, but when it becomes Tom Brady Way, we can't tear that stadium down. Are you kidding me? That's the place where Tom Brady ended his career in triumphant manner with confetti falling down. I'm not going to remember 2022. Nobody's going to remember 2022, 2020 and 2021, but mostly 2020 because we can see clearly. That was the moment that Tom Brady took us to the top. The Lombardi Trophy in our own house. It was amazing. All right, we got so much to get to, but first and foremost, we're going to play his retirement announcement. And yes, folks, this is for real. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. We saw what happened this year. We're not going to dwell on the negatives. It is what it is. We saw it. We chronicled it here, and I thought we were very, very honest about it. And it was painful to do it at times. But Tom Brady came to the same conclusions that we have came to and have been talking about all year. It's time. Father time always wins. But he was kept at bay for this one. He had to go overtime multiple times. He had to go overtime. But, yeah, he finally won. Here's Tom Brady on the beach making his announcement this morning.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. You only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much to every single one of you for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
Man, that was great. That was sincere, not some prepared statement like you put out last year that could be parsed and torn apart. That was great. And it's that sincerity that allows me to say very, very confidently he's not coming back. And by the way, we got TJ Reeves coming up here in just a second. Also, Brad Johnson, the only other man to quarterback the Buccaneers to a Super Bowl championship, a man who played against Brady, will join us at 10:15. And then 10:30, the man who's covered every Super Bowl that Tom Brady has ever played in, maybe knows him better than any reporter, Sal Paolantonio, will join us at 10:30. And one other thing I wanted to say about Brady is, this is to me one of the most uniquely American stories and one of the greatest stories. If you know your history, you know the old Horatio Alger stories about how young kids from poverty and nothing grow up to do something extraordinary. And that's what he did. He lived that life. Some gangly, skinny kid from a small farming town in California can somehow rise to be the greatest player in the history of the NFL, the game that this nation is obsessed with because it is uniquely American. NFL football is combining courage and fortitude and athleticism and integrity and loyalty. All those traits that we hold dear is embodied in the game of football. And then for a man of that stature, not the greatest athlete in the world, certainly a man who ran a 5.4 40 at the combine, for God's sakes, against all these elite athletes, becomes the greatest man to ever play the game. Why? Because of dedication. More core values that made this country the great country that it once was and maybe can be again. But those great qualities that he exemplified: hard work, outworking your competition, be prepared, put more time in, first in, last out. This is what Brady really redefined. He redefined what it was like to focus, what it was like to be the best teammate. He redefined what leadership is using all of those qualities. And to me, that will be his lasting legacy. And they're qualities that frankly have diminished in our society and need to be celebrated again. And that's what I love about Tom Brady. He was the personification of the greatest generation in my mind. And his dad was part of that. And he is the product of that. And I hope that will be the legacy that lives on. You can achieve anything you want if you work hard enough. That, to me, is Tom Brady's legacy. All right, let's bring in our good friend TJ Reeves, Bucs sideline guy, who was there on the sideline for the whole magical ride. And TJ, from the moment the day after Jameis threw that pass, and I said, coming to Tampa Bay, and all called me crazy. I said, Tom Brady's coming to Tampa Bay. To the day in March when I was on the slopes in Colorado when he decided to come to Tampa Bay, to winning his Super Bowl in his own freaking stadium and you were there with the confetti falling down. I mean, you can't. The NFL scriptwriters got this one right. There's no question about that. They did. What a ride.
Yeah, no doubt. Good to be with you. And I promised you that when there was news that I would be happy to jump on. I know you're jam-packed. I know you got the Bull coming up here in a few minutes to talk about winning Super Bowls as a quarterback and Brady's legacy. And Sal Powell, shout out to Sal Powell, who we love from ESPN. So everybody's got their different viewpoints. I can just say to you what a wild time it was for so many reasons in 2020. And to win a Super Bowl in your own stadium with Tom Brady at the helm, I mean, it was bizarre. I've said to you that all the way up until that final game, I had pretty well held the reality check together. But when he threw the second touchdown to Gronkowski late in the first half, and you're looking at Brady celebrating with Gronkowski in the end zone that's painted Buccaneers in Buccaneer colors at Raymond James Stadium, I had a moment. I don't mind telling you, it's not a senior moment yet for me, but I had a moment like, are we really watching this? Is this real life? Is this really happening? And it did happen, Buccaneer fans. So we will always have that. Obviously, It was a 13-win season a year ago in 2021 that had promised that you maybe had a chance to contend or go back to the Super Bowl and maybe win it again. It did not work out. And then, as I said to you the last time that we talked, this was a bonus. Did any of us, let's go back. Did any of us believe a third season? Did any of us believe, much less a fourth season, was going to be possible? So this was a bonus in 2022, and it was crazy. They had trouble scoring. It was frustrating. It was at times exhilarating at the end of games that had been frustrating.
Yeah.
But you still made the playoffs. You made the playoffs all 3 years, and you got to witness the greatest of all time to do it. And he did it in Buccaneer colors at the very end, and he proved to the Patriots and to everybody else, I still got it, and I can go somewhere else and win. Yep. So we take all those things into account, and now the Buccaneers have to move on, and he's doing the right thing by them in the time frame that they need it by saying, this is my decision. Now you can make your moves and do what you have to do with free agents, salary caps, players you're trying to bring back, contracts. So this is not something that could take until March to play out when free agency begins. So it's good that this is happening now. And now I'm curious, does he end up on the Fox pregame show, not in the booth? Does he end up on the Fox pregame show for the Super Bowl in 10 days? And is that the next chapter, or what happens with that? We don't know, but this is not unexpected. I've gotten so many texts and calls. Were you expecting him to retire? I believed he was, and I think you and I talked about this because we've talked a couple times off the air. I believed he was either going to play here or that was going to be it. That was the choice he was wrestling with.
Yeah, on Monday.
He was wrestling. Well, either I'm going to come back and play here or that's going to be it. And I think ultimately 45 years of age, what more do you have to prove? Kids, very important to him. You and I have talked about that. We can both relate. Parents can relate to that. That's very important to him.
Yeah, he was never going to San Francisco.
Yeah, next chapter of his life. Next chapter of his life. And so that's where we are today.
All right, while I got you, because I know you got a lot of stuff to do, give me that one moment. I mean, we all have that moment that we interacted with Brady that was special, that we'll never forget. You probably have more of them than most. And it could be some innocuous thing that he did, or you ran into him in the building. Like, it's just weird seeing him around the building from time to time. You can't believe it. Give me that moment for you. Yeah, well, I mean, in that first season, we weren't allowed to be around them. So that was crazy in and of itself. Yeah. Where he didn't know who I was. He basically didn't know who I was the entire time because I didn't have interaction with him on a regular basis, and he didn't do a lot of stuff with local media. So two things. I mean, these are the things you take away forever, and I'm holding this up for the audience on TV. So there I am in a mask with Brady over my shoulder with the confetti falling, broadcasting at Super Bowl 55, and he's on the big screen back there behind me. So there were a couple of other moments, too, where right beside me, he and Gronkowski come over to do the "We're going to Disney World" commercial. That was right beside me. God. I'm standing right there, as surreal as it gets, while they're doing "We're going to Disney World." Okay, say it again. Say Disneyland. We're going to Disneyland. I'm standing right there. And then this was another surreal moment because people kept asking me, what was it like to be around Tom Brady? What was it like to interact with Tom Brady? And I kept saying to them, it's crazy, but I wasn't really around him. The closest I could get to him, because we only had virtual, was after the game, after the podium celebration. There I am. All right. And there he is smiling at somebody behind me while talking to Westwood One on the national broadcast. So that's about 10 feet away from me. I'm showing a picture for those that can't see it. I'm showing a picture. I'm trying not to get glare of me standing there in the front row with Brady standing behind me smiling. And I kept joking, he's smiling because TJ is getting to do a Super Bowl interview, but he wasn't actually talking to me. He's talking to somebody else. And I kept interacting. That's the closest I got to Tom Brady in 2020. They didn't let us around the locker room or around the players. It was crazy. So the memories of that 2020 season, magical. You can never take that away. It's a Super Bowl win. Watching the man at 44 and 45 years of age still be able to sling it and lead comeback wins at 45 years of age last year. I mean, you talk about cementing the legacy for all time. Those are the things that I will take away. It's been a wild ride. National TV games, standalone Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night games, crazy game in Germany. Yeah. So you have all these different memories, and we got to all share in this
as broadcasters, fans, observers. We got to share in this for the last 3 years, and there are a lot of other franchises that would have loved to have had it for 1 year, and we got it for 3 years.
For a game. My God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, TJ, I know you're busy. Thanks so much for your time and your perspective. And as I started with this, we started at 0-26. We were the Yuccaneers. But when he chose us,
oh yeah,
everything changed in 2002. But when he chose us again, that took it to another level.
Well, there's no doubt. And the guy that you're about to talk to is the other link to the other Super Bowl. So you have two of those. Yes. Consider that right now in this century, in the 2000s, there are 18 franchises that haven't won a Super Bowl in this century. 18 of them that haven't won it, 12 that haven't won it ever, but 18 that haven't won it at all in this century. And the Buccaneers have 2. So that's a good thing. And we'll have much more time to digest all this. What do the Bucs do at quarterback, et cetera. But I know you want to move on about Brady and the retirement and get to the Bull. All right. Be well, boys.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right. We'll take a quick break here. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, Golden Diamond Source, Emerging Investigations, American Mortgage Services. Thanks to all of our great advertisers who are going to let us go long in this first hour so we can get you Brad Johnson and Sal Paolantonio. Coming up next. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the Jeeves Law Group. We are so pleased to welcome in the only other man to lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a Super Bowl championship besides Tom Brady, who is retired today. And that is the great Brad Johnson, the Bull, joining us now. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great, JP. Appreciate you having me on the show, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I said about Tom, that I think should be his lasting legacy is something I would also echo about you as a 10th round pick in the NFL when they used to have 10 rounds. A guy that comes from somewhat of obscurity, works his ass off, maybe not the greatest athlete in the world, but you're certainly much more athletic than many people give you credit for.
Right.
Becoming a Super Bowl champion, being on top of that podium. And I think you two share a lot of those same qualities. Is that the thing that you think of the most when you see Tom Brady and you see what he's accomplished in his career?
It was funny a couple of weeks ago at the end of the season. He talked about how good he was at darts and
right.
He's good at hitting a baseball
That's
and
you.
shoot a basketball.
That's you.
But he couldn't run fast and he couldn't jump. And those are the things he probably worked hardest at.
Right.
But when honestly, the first time I heard he retired was this morning when you texted me.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, and I went and saw his speech that he gave at the beach and about retiring, and I just say good for him.
Yeah.
Like good for him. He deserves it. And I often think of the movie Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump's running across America, and he gets all these people that are following him, and it's kind of, more people join him, and then all of a sudden, Forrest Gump, he stops out there in the middle of the desert, and he says it's time to go home. And I see the same thing with Tom, 23 years, 649 touchdowns, 251 wins, 58 game-winning drives, 14 game-winning drives in the playoffs, and 7 Super Bowls, and the list goes on. Like it take a decade just to read his accomplishments. But I think what's awesome about him is, and I've only met him one time. I met him at the quarterback challenge in 2003. I played against him one time, and what I remember about him and what I see from him on TV is just his relentless, his passion, his drive, his will to become. How good can he throw a foul? How can he perfect taking a snap? How can he perfect calling the play in the huddle better? And how can he win a 2-minute drive? And I think one of the greatest things of a quarterback that everyone gets lost in is how far can you throw a ball, and how athletic, and what was that kind of crazy move that you can make. But the greatness of Tom, I think, is just showing up to practice every day, wanting to win, wanting to make his team better, and giving his team, his organization, hope and belief that he could do it. And dadgummit, if he didn't do it for 23 years and we all watched on the couch, and it was awesome. And JP, honestly, I think what's really cool was, even for you got to cover the greatest quarterback of all time for 3 years.
That's right.
And the people in Tampa Bay, they got to experience, winning. They hadn't won a playoff game in 18 years since we had won it.
Yep.
But you got to see Tom in real life. You got to see him celebrate and, throw the trophy around on the boat and everything that came with it. But you got to experience it, and you got to feel like you're a part of it. So it was pretty cool.
Well, that's so well put, my friend. So well put. But I want to tap into your personal knowledge here. You said you played against him one time. If I know you were probably out early watching what he was doing in pregame, what he did here, what he did there, and watched him during the game. What did you learn about quarterbacking from watching Tom Brady and playing against him?
Well, it's when he walks in the building, you feel like Darth Vader walked in the building. I mean, you know he's there. Like you can feel.
You feel his presence.
There's a different heartbeat in the city when he comes to your town, and everyone wants to see it, and you feel like, he could be 14 points down. You feel like, golly, he's going to lead them back, and he kind of does, But he gives your team that you're playing for hope. But if you're on the other team, it gives you doubt. And those are, and not that he's better, but that doubt that he puts in you, it makes him better, and he did it for 23 years. So that's what Tom does. All eyes are on him whenever he comes in the building, when he warms up, and then obviously when he plays.
Well, you played for a long time in the league yourself. What was it? From 17 years. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
How hard is it to stay in the league and to be able to do it at that level for that long?
It's tough because every day you are competing. There's someone going to be drafted behind you. You're trying to stay healthy. You're trying to keep a spot on the team. You're trying to prove your worth. Every day you're trying to prove your worth for the season, for the stats. Can you put your team in the playoffs? Can you still play at that level? And for someone like me, I retired at 40 and my body was done. I couldn't play anymore. Like I physically could not throw the ball. I physically could not run. Like I could not play in a flag football game. That's where I was at. And the difference with someone like Tom, like he retired last year supposedly,
Right.
but he could still play.
Yeah,
it's still in him. And if the headlines today were saying he's coming back to Tampa, or the potential that he was going to San Francisco, we would believe it.
Yep.
And so that's how it's incredible that he's kept his body in shape that long. He only had 1 year of injury. It's just you just have to marvel at what his approach and the way he accomplished it and the way he went about his business.
Brad Johnson joining us here, Bucs Super Bowl winning quarterback. What you guys did really put the Buccaneers on the map. There's no question about that. Did you sense from afar that Tom took it to another level in terms of where the Bucs are in terms of their national stature? I mean, we're kind of so close to it here. It's been an amazing ride, but I don't think we get the national perspective of what Brady's presence here has been. Could you put that into words?
Yeah, I think if you go back Yeah, he's been there 3 years. They go to the playoffs 3 times.
Right.
And it's just hard to make the playoffs. But if you go back 4, 5, 6 years ago, you're getting that 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
And and then all of a sudden, you know what? You're getting the Sunday night game. You're getting the Monday night game. You're getting the 4 o'clock game. You're getting you're on TV. You're getting the coverage on ESPN. They're in the building coverage, and like you're the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you get that attention. You know what? The stadium seats are sold out. The boxes, you can't buy box seats. I mean, the flags are waving, and the whole thing. So that's and you know what? He brought free agents with him to Tampa. Like, people, you have to have players around you, great players. And then this year they went through a bunch of injuries, and you see what happens if you don't have a team full of healthy players. It's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
But he gives you chance. He gives you hope, and he gave Tampa life for 3 years. It's incredible, the national attention that it did bring to the Bucs.
Brad Johnson joining us here. And Brad, you were a cerebral player yourself. And I wonder, when you watch Tom Brady in his prime, and maybe not this season, when you watched him, what is it that caught your eye? What is it that he did better than everybody else from X's and O's standpoint, where you said, yep, there it is. There it is. And also, I would also say, from an athletic standpoint, I thought, up close watching him in practice, from 10, 15 yards away, running in the red zone, his ball placement, his velocity, and the way he could look guys off and come back to the other side so quickly with the way he moved his feet, I think is underrated. What are the football things that you noticed when he played that you said, damn, that's good?
All the above. I think what he did better than anybody is he made the routine play routine.
Yeah. I
mean, very rarely when he threw the interception in the playoffs down there in the end zone, he's throwing the ball away. We're like, what just took place? That was the first time I'd seen just a bad mistake. In 23 years, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
But he made routine plays routine. I didn't, when you just don't remember him making that throw. What? It was just, he made the normal play normal. He made the routine play routine. If guys were open, he hit them in stride.
Yep.
If he didn't hit his first outlet, he could get to a second. He could get to a third. He could get to the 5th eligible guy. And I thought he was extremely, extremely accurate, athletic in the pocket.
Yep.
That's what gets lost about a quarterback. We're timing 40s and verticals, and no, you can be extremely athletic in a 6-foot box in that pocket and be able to keep your eyes down the field and be able to take a hit right in the nose.
Yeah.
And
and deliver football 30 yards downfield. Yeah.
You got to be willing to take a hit for the team and for the play. And so he kept his eyes down the field. He made plays with his feet in the pocket. Now, not outside the pocket, but he was hard to sack.
Yeah.
And just a guy that you want to play for, but extremely accurate and could deliver the ball. It's hard to do it for that long.
All right, last question for you. Is there one Brady story that goes around locker rooms, or that you heard from other buddies that may have played with him that you just said, damn, that's crazy? Anything come to mind?
No, I don't know.
That you can say on the
I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
I just remember everybody was with him. They talked about he was a humble dude. He loved his teammates, loved playing, loved competing.
Mm-hmm.
Guy that played dominoes in the in the back room too, and everyone just has total respect for the guy. So
awesome stuff.
Hell, I don't know what I'm gonna do, JP. I mean, I spent 23 years of my life watching him on my couch. So who am I gonna cheer for now?
I think you have a couple young boys that you can cheer for. I think you'll be all right. And by the way, we want to get you on to talk about Max and Jake sometime and what's going on with them. So we wish y'all the best.
Well, we're gonna get Rondi to the Hall of Fame here soon.
Damn
hopefully.
right. Hopefully in a couple days.
You know that.
Hopefully in a couple days, and we'll have some fun in Canton with that. That'll be fun for sure.
No doubt.
All right,
Hold
Brad,
on.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. You're the best.
See JP. See you, bud.
Right, it's always great. You can call a Super Bowl winning quarterback on a day like today and get his perspective. I thought that was amazing. I thought it was some of the things he said right there were just like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You can feel him in the building. Isn't that not Darth Vader in the evil sense, but you just feel his presence.
Yeah, the presence is there.
Yeah. What a great metaphor.
I like that one, and I also love when you asked him about what did he do that was like you went, oh, that's it right there.
Yeah.
He made the simple play simple.
Yeah. Kept it simple. And that sounds like such an easy thing to do. It's not.
No, it's
with
not.
chaos all around you, to be able to do that is consistently amazing. All right, quick break. When we come back, Sal Paolantonio is going to join us. A man that's covered every one of Tom Brady's Super Bowls and has interviewed him more times than just about anybody we know. We'll have him on in moments. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance company at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group at JeevesLawGroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, the Golden Diamond Source, and American Mortgage Services. We thank them for allowing us to get all this stuff in and the great guest that we have today. And we want to bring in our good friend, Sal Paolantonio, ESPN, who's covered every Tom Brady Super Bowl and knows this man just about better than any reporter in the business. What's up, Sal Pal? How are you, my friend?
Well, you called it, JP. You 100% called it, JP. You saw it coming. And he certainly looked retired while he was playing, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He looked different from the get-go this year, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally. And, just had Brad Johnson on, and he talked about that last pick that he threw in the end zone. And I had a feeling right there, and I don't mean to start with something negative, but just in terms of his retirement, that was maybe one of his most embarrassing moments. And I think he might have looked at that and said, man, it's time. I don't do that stuff. That is not Tom Brady, and I'm not going to do this again. I think that might have been one of the moments. But what are your thoughts on just what transpired this morning? Do you think it's sincere? I certainly do. It has no feel like last year, right?
Yeah, in regards to his play, the eye in the sky does not lie. It just does not, and you are what you're put on film, and everybody could see it. Bottom line is he didn't want to get hit.
Yeah.
And when you don't want to get hit and you're chucking and ducking, it doesn't look good. It's not the way you want your career to end. I do think it's sincere. I think there are a lot more questions that have to be answered, obviously. Number one, with Sean Payton going to Denver, it sounds like the idea of bringing Sean Payton and Tom Brady back together for one last hurrah was not going to work. There was nobody buying that.
Yep.
Two, we got to find out what happened with the Las Vegas Raiders because there definitely was an interest. We all know that. So at some point, that decision might have been made for Tom Brady, whether it was by Mr. Davis, the owner of the team, or Josh McDaniels. They just looked at it and said, hey, are we better off with a mediocre Derek Carr or a Tom Brady who is just cashing a check?
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of questions and reporting to be done. This doesn't diminish at all, in my view, what he accomplished. And I have never been in the business, JP, ever in my career, 30 years covering the NFL, of telling players what to do, what contracts to sign, what teams to go to, when to retire, when to come back from injury. Those are personal and business decisions that players make. They don't tell me how to run my family. They don't tell me how to do my business. I'm not about to tell him that to do that. All I know is Tom Brady gave us 20 plus years of unparalleled athletic achievement. And I'll say it again because I've said it to you on this show maybe 20 times. What he did his first year in Tampa will never be done again by any other athlete ever. Never. To go from one team to another during a pandemic and in 9 months, remake that team in your image and drag them through the season, a tough season during COVID-19, and win the Super Bowl like they did. He had a lot of help. Now, Todd Bowles in that defense gave him a lot of help. Bruce Arians coached his brains out, coached his butt off, and he deserves a lot of credit. But for Brady to do that as an athlete on the field will never be duplicated, and I think it will go down as one of the greatest athletic achievements of all time.
Well said. And coming from you, it has a lot of meaning. Now, I would argue that making AB behave for a whole year may be his greatest accomplishment, but that was all part of what you just said too, because he got him to do that for 1 year. Sal Paolantonio joining us here. Sal, you've covered a lot of great athletes, and maybe you've talked about this last year, but what made him different? What made him special? And as I said in my monologue, you know, it's a uniquely American story for a kid with very little athletic ability, underrated. I'm going to say that, but in terms of great NFL athletes that we see out there, to become the greatest NFL player of all time, it is an absolute study in master's class in dedication, perseverance, just ridiculous, relentless work ethic, as Brad Johnson's just said. What did you see? What made him better than everybody else?
Great teammate. You wanted to be on his team.
Yeah.
He made you better because of all of those things. He was the CEO on and off the field. He set an example through his work ethic and single-minded vision. I've been at a lot of practices with Tom Brady in New England, not so much in Tampa, but a lot of them in New England. And if a player was out of position, he knew it before the player was out of position. If a player ran the wrong route, if a player dropped an easy ball, Brady was up there and teaching hard coaching on the field. I remember very specifically when Rex Burkhead ran the wrong option route. Brady lived off option routes between the hashes. And Rex Burkhead ran the wrong option route in a red zone drill up in New England in practice, you know, a nondescript Thursday afternoon training camp. And Tom Brady wouldn't stand for it. It's that kind of focus, dedication to the craft that I think will separate him from a lot of people. And there's really only one or two peers, honestly. I think it's Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods in terms of single-minded vision to say to yourself, okay, here's where I want to go, and here's how I'm going to get there. And I am never getting off this road until I get there. And then to achieve it on a monumental scale, I don't think it'll be ever be done again in the National Football League. That's for sure.
I would agree with that. And I was going to ask you about leadership, and I think that was a great story that certainly showed that. Are there other instances of things that he did in terms of leadership? Because I think this is an underrated quality in quarterbacks. And we look at a lot of different quarterbacks and how they get it done. But when you're winning championships, it's a special quality, especially at that rate. There's something about your leadership that is different. What did you see?
Lead by example all the time.
Yeah.
And off the field, too, the TB12 method.
Yeah. Set
up there in Foxborough at Patriot Place. You know, I walk by it all the time. I stay at Patriot Place at the Renaissance Hotel, go to Davio's restaurant, then go to the stadium and back, and you pass by TB12 all the time. And that training complex became the Mecca for all of the athletes, and especially the Patriots who wanted to follow the Tom Brady regimen and work ethic. It became the Mecca. And Alex Guerrero and his ability to help these players, and Brady to understand, hey, it wasn't just about him. So that's one. And two, hometown discount. Let's not forget that.
Yep.
Big part of the Brady legacy. It's more important for me to win rings and trophies and Super Bowl titles than for me to make the extra buck.
Yes.
I need the extra buck to pay Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Troy Brown, Teddy Bruschi, Ty Law, all those guys who are Hall of Famers, some of them, but all shared in the rings because Tom Brady didn't break the bank like other guys. And this is not a slight on other guys, but other guys have broken the bank. Joe Flacco did.
Yep.
Look what happened to Baltimore. Aaron Rodgers is probably the best example.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers went for the big bucks. Packers couldn't afford Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the rest of the story. And for Aaron Rodgers to say, I could win another MVP if I wanted to, and then Gronk goes after him, that's Gronk channeling Brady when he says that about Aaron Rodgers. Am I wrong about that, JP, or not?
You were 100% right on that. When I heard it, I was like, yep, I think I know what he's talking about, no doubt. Sal Paolantonio joining us here. Also, the anchor of the Matchup Show, which is the best X's and O's show in all of football without question. So this next question is about X's and O's, and I just asked Brad Johnson this as well. What is it about the X's and O's? What does he do on game day? What do you see on tape that made him better than everybody else? What was it?
Well, one, pre-snap read is very important. So you've called the play, you get to the line of scrimmage, you see what the defense is doing. And I would always watch him and Ray Lewis, this chess match between him and Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
You know, the formation would present itself. Ray Lewis would adjust. Tom Brady would adjust. Ball snapped, further adjustment. I mentioned those option routes. He was the master of it, whether it was Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Rex Burkhead, Rob Gronkowski, or go down the list. Those option routes are done by visual recognition and nonverbal communication that only Tom Brady could possibly accomplish. By the way, tell Brad, who is one of my favorite guys that I ever encountered in the NFL, and obviously I was there when they won the Super Bowl. Tell Brad Stevens that Sal Pal sends my best to his family.
Absolutely,
because I know he's a great family man and a terrific guy. And now I want to see who the Bucs are going to pick for a quarterback. What's Todd Bowles going to do? That's the next big fat question, JP. And I love you, I respect you, but Sports Center is calling, brother. So I got to run.
You got to go,
and,
buddy.
We will catch up. We will catch up soon. It's always great to chat with
best.
you, and thank you for reaching out and getting my perspective. I covered all 10 of Tom Brady's Super Bowls. I thought there might be an 11, but there wasn't. And I wish Tom Brady and his children and his family the best. They've always treated me with the utmost respect. I don't know if Tom's listening right now, but I know he follows you all the time. He's told me that. And listen, what Tom Brady has done for the National Football League is, he pushed the button on the launch pad and put it into orbit. So, congratulations to Tom Brady to picking retirement. You got to have shalom in the home. I believe that. I think it's important.
Yes.
And I'll see him in the broadcast booth. Now I get to really terrorize him. Now I see him on Sunday.
That's right.
JP, you're the best. Thanks for reaching out, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Sal, thank you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time on a day like this. I know how busy you are. The great Sal Paolantonio. That shalom in the home. He said that at the beginning of the season. Remember, we had Sal Pal on. He said, you got to have shalom in the home, and he doesn't have it right now. It's going to be a tough season for him, and he was spot on. Well, I've been taking notes from Brad and TJ and Sal Pal. There's so many things that have been said that I want to comment on, because I think they're spot on. I know you've been watching social media. What are we getting as some of the reaction?
I mean, obviously everybody just looking at the insane stats, much like you see like those old stats of like Tiger Woods and like
the numbers
Jordan,
are just ridiculous,
and now LeBron. And I think that's, I haven't had a chance to really speak on this yet, but I think that's one of my takeaways. I was driving in today, and I've touched on this a few times, that this past generation of athlete is just absolutely iconic. When you look at every sport, and I hate that we hate greatness a lot of times, and everybody does it.
Yeah.
And I would say that I was in that group of people. Like, I was an Aaron Rodgers guy. I was not a Tom Brady guy.
Right.
And I would make so many arguments to tell people that Tom Brady's not as good as you think he is, right? I was in that camp. I'll admit it. But I'm so glad that this happened. Obviously,
Yeah.
as a Bucs fan, first and foremost, because I've said so many times, I didn't know what a winning football team looked like. I never thought I'd see a Super Bowl, let alone a playoff game.
Yeah.
A full Raymond James Stadium, 5,000 new seats added, club seats sold out, tickets, even though I hated it, tickets that were like thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay was big time. The epicenter of the NFL for the past 3 seasons.
It was.
Make no mistake about it, was in Tampa Bay in our backyard.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm thankful. But just being able to actually appreciate his career finally, now that I got a chance to root for him, is what I think is special. And I think that's kind of my lasting thing is for the athletes that are still going of that generation. I'm talking LeBron James. I'm talking Tiger Woods if he continues to go. Serena Williams. All these athletes, Ovechkin in hockey. All these people that have always taken so many arrows
Of that age.
that have taken all these arrows. The ones that are still playing, let's appreciate it. I think that's my big thing here.
It's great that you say, because Serena's what, 41?
Yeah, 41.
Tom's 45. You know, you can look at Federer.
Yeah, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic.
Right, pushing 40.
Yeah.
So you're looking at born, what, late 70s?
Yeah.
Late 70s.
Early 80s, yeah.
And I was alive at that time, obviously. And so, and I'm trying to think back, like, how the world has changed since then. And when I was coming up, and so I was obviously a couple, quite a bit older than Tom Brady, but I have that historical perspective of what coaching was like, what the world was like back then. And those guys had a unique opportunity. They were kind of on the cusp between old school and new school. Like, they had all the old school values that were taught to them by their parents, Richard Williams, Tiger's dad, these were ball busters, man. And Tom Brady's dad was the same way. These are greatest generation people. They're ball busters, and they don't take, you're instilled when you come up in life, you're instilled with those values, man. Integrity, hard work, perseverance, don't quit. All of those things that made Brady great, those were things that were taught by their parents. And I would say, and I'm just drawing this parallel right now. And I think of the Richard Williams and Tom's dad and the Tiger's dad. Think about that. Yeah. And some of the parents think about, I know, Brad Johnson's dad was a coach. And a lot of these guys' dads were coaches, and they were hard ass coaches. They weren't candy ass coaches like you see today. I mean, because frankly, you can't coach hard today like you could back then. You could coach and you could do things to your own kids that would be so frowned upon right now in terms of dedication to the sport and the craft. And it's no joke, and it's no accident that those kids became who they are.
Yeah.
And they lasted for as long as they did against people coming up
and
that just don't have the fortitude and the perseverance and the determination and the will to win that those guys did.
And it's not made for everybody. Listen, look at all the ones you just mentioned. Tom Brady has been hanging on to football. He's going to be 46 years old. He hung on that long, 23 seasons in the NFL. His career has spanned my entire lifetime. Think about that.
Yeah.
My entire lifetime, Tom Brady has been playing football.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about. You mentioned Tiger Woods. He's still holding on to keep going. Has nothing else to prove. But
Same determination.
Same determination. Did Serena Williams really have to keep playing at 40 years old? No, she did not. Did Federer have to keep doing it? No, but when you're a born winner, and all the things you just mentioned there that you're brought up with, and that's in you. You're not. I think a lot of times it's born in you, and those are the elite players. And even like LeBron James too is a good example. He's 38 years old, and he's giving you 30 a night. Yeah, right. It's insane. Still, it's insane. That's what I don't want to take these athletes for granted, and you can see how much it means to them, how they just continue to hold on. And Tom Brady, I think he might have had every intention maybe of wanting to come back next year, but I think, like you said, that play against Dallas, it kind of, if you were ever trying to pick a moment, I'm not saying that was his moment, but at least in our eyes, you could look at that as the moment.
Well, you heard Sal Pal say it. He didn't want to get hit. Mark, we said this, I think, we were kind of the first to say it this year. And then a lot of people saw what we saw. Not that they listened, but they saw what they saw. And it was becoming extremely apparent that he just did not want to get hit. And he knew he couldn't get hit. 15 pounds down, if he got hit, he wasn't going to survive.
And by the way, that's okay.
It's okay.
I'm not.
It's okay.
Listen,
because if he goes down, where are we?
I'm far away. I'm far away from 45. You've been 45 before.
Yes. You don't want to get hit.
I don't know anybody who's that old that wants to get hit.
And I'm not saying it was a lack of courage, because clearly he had
it takes courage to stand in there.
It takes courage to stand in there, but he also knew not only self-preservation, but team preservation, because the team was doing nothing without him.
Yeah.
And if he got hurt, he knew it's better for me to get rid of the ball and live to play another play than to get hurt and stand in there and take, stare down the gun barrel like I used to and take the shot like Brad said, you got to do it. And we heard Marcus Spears say it. We've been saying it. Yeah. You can't play in the NFL if you're playing not to get hit.
And that's amazing. That's even more amazing when you think about it. 23 years for a quarterback who had zero mobility for a majority of it, right? And
never missed a game.
And missed one season. That was it.
Yeah.
One freak injury. That was it.
That was it.
Think about that and think how many guys now get hurt on a daily basis. San Francisco, if you're playing for the 49ers, it's prerequisite. You're going to get hurt at some point, right?
Well, and the way
it's so hard to stay.
They put their quarterbacks in harm's way.
It's so hard to stay healthy in this league, I imagine.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been able to dodge it and be a quarterback that just stands there and doesn't move that much. It's about getting it out quick. It's about those pre-snap reads. It's about the adjustments at the line. It's all those like minutiae and things that made him the greatest, in my opinion.
Obviously, I didn't play quarterback at a high level, but even at the lower levels that I played, one of the first things they tell you is, the quarterback is the prima donna, right? It's the guy that the golden boy. You get all the credit and all the blame. But the one thing you cannot do is be a coward. And I'm not saying Tom was being a coward. My point is you have to stand in and take the shot. Everybody else is taking shots, but there'll become times in a game, 5 to 10 times in a game, when a guy's coming at you and you got to wait for a guy to come open. You got to stand in and take the shot.
And it's not a Tom Brady exclusive thing. I mean, this was a Drew Brees thing. This was a Peyton Manning thing. Yeah. It comes to everybody.
Yeah. And he knew that he couldn't do that anymore. He knew that he couldn't do that anymore because he wouldn't survive it. And that play, that interception, you saw, and when I saw it, I was like, whoa, what just happened? And then I replayed it. I'm like, oh my God, he was about to get hit. And he turned away and threw the ball thinking he was going to throw it out of the end zone. It was a 15-yard throw, 20-yard throw, but he didn't get enough of it. And it was because he fell backwards and didn't want to take the hit and threw. In film sessions, if you see any quarterback do something like that, wow. And I'm not saying he probably said, wow, I just did that.
Yeah, I think.
Oof. And not only did he do it, but it cost him the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a valid reason. The other thing, and if I was, again, I'm not going to claim to know what's in Tom Brady's mind, but he's always said that I would continue playing if I think I can win a Super Bowl. And I think he came to the realization. He watched this past weekend, the conference championship. He looked at all those teams. He looked at the quarterback play around the league. And I think he probably can't. He looked at the situation here in Tampa Bay, which clearly, from everybody else's reporting, it looked like it was Tampa Bay or bust.
Right, it was.
Right.
That's what. Listen,
he looked around the league, and
we've been talking about that. And I said, on the day after the game this year, I said that certainly looked like his last game. That looked like his last game. And when his parents walked off, you could see, especially in his dad, mom, they were crying. They were openly weeping. They were down on the field, which they rarely are. They always stay up in the stands. And they were and then the speech at the end, which, I was there. I was in the room. And who asked him his last football question in a press conference? So I got that going. There actually was one more question, but he didn't answer it. He went right into his speech. So does that count?
Sure. You can go in here and throw it on the LinkedIn resume if you want. I mean, it's fine.
But on a personal level, I got a chance to ask Tom, having, I don't know, 10, 15 questions in person. And he looked me in the eye and took my questions seriously. And he seemed to answer my questions with a little bit more depth than maybe some others. And I appreciate that for whatever reason. I mean, Sal Pal says he follows me and listens to the show. So I appreciate you, Tom. I don't know if that's true, but it's sure nice to hear.
Just run with it.
Sal Pal said it's got to be true. He never tells a lie. That's for damn sure. So, I mean, to me, I'll take that. I will take that to the bank, and I will cherish that moment. And I have it on video on my own camera where I asked him the question and he answered it.
Yeah.
And what question I asked him about not being able to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
So it was a legitimate question. I'm glad I asked it. And, it was never easy to ask those types of questions of the GOAT. And I asked a few of them.
Throughout the year, yeah.
I did. And he answered them respectfully. And I think he knows it came from a push position of respect and trying to understand the game and why it's not being played at the level that he played it his entire career. Yeah. And he knew that. And I respect him immensely for that.
And it's kind of funny. I remember like when I first met you, if you recall, it was I was doing like a little interview with you, and I actually asked you that question. I said, what is it like to talk to Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can't quite remember what your answer was then, but just hearing it now, like it's got to be one of the coolest moments.
Oh my God. I mean, just him looking like I'll never forget in that last press conference, because I had a sense after I just seen his parents walk off. And I think I even filmed it. I taped him on my phone walking off the field like this is the last time. And I just had a real sense. And then he gave that goodbye, and I was like, wow. But I really felt like that was it. That was it. And yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's something in my career that I will never forget. Maybe the highlight, honestly. I mean, having Brad Johnson come out of the locker room after he just won a Super Bowl in San Diego and be the only interview he did on the field with a local station because of our relationship. That was one of my favorite moments of my career. Having that last interaction with Tom Brady in his last football press conference, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a moment that only you and whoever many people were in that room, whether it's 30, 40, 50 media members, will
asked the question. I own that answer.
Yeah.
Can I NFT that?
Might be able to NFT
Tom, can I NFT that? Finally, make some money on this deal. Do I own that?
I think you own it.
I think I own that. I'll NFT the shit out of that. I don't even know how NFT works.
This is how you work. Always trying to turn into some kind of profit somewhere.
Oh gosh, and it never does. By the way, it never does. That keeps me humble though. It just, it's, and I want to get your guys.
Pat Burnham said, JP, are you going to retire?
Well, no. If I had a choice, yes. But I don't have that choice, Pat. I got to keep working. So if I was Tom, would I retire? Hell yes. I would have retired a while ago if I was Tom. Yeah. And I think if he has he said he wouldn't change a thing.
How could you honestly change a thing, though? How could you honestly change a thing?
This last season?
It would have been great. But you know what? The greats, we talk about this. How often do you get the John Elway send-off?
It's not often.
You really don't get –
no.
Even though Peyton Manning got the send-off, I guess, because he won the Super Bowl, it was still hard to watch.
It was very hard.
It was hard to watch Drew Brees. I don't want to say
that was for Peyton Manning. That was almost a ceremonial trophy.
I don't want to necessarily it was hard to watch Tom Brady as more as it was hard to watch the Bucs in general.
Yeah,
and I guess you can just kind of loop him in there. Mm-hmm. But again, as we've said all this time, and TJ mentioned it there, we always knew we were getting 2 years. We were hoping for a third, and selfishly we were like, okay, come back for a fourth, right?
Right.
But in the end, when you write the story of Tampa Bay, that chapter, it starts and ends with 2020.
Yeah,
and that's all that mattered.
That's all it mattered, and that's all we're going to remember. I'll remember 21. They were a damn good football team in 21. And
they might have been a little bit of a better team in 2021. I'm not even going to lie to you until everything happened at the end.
How much of AB freaking out?
AB and Chris Godwin's injury. I think if they don't have those, I mean, who knows?
Yep.
Who knows? But if you're talking about, does he have any regrets? Well, he posted like 15 pictures here of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And there's pictures here of Michigan. I mean, this one right here with his family.
On the field
at Raymond James Stadium. This one with his family over and his kid. I mean, I don't think there's any regrets there.
It's funny, through all this, and yesterday I heard people, get up twice this week. San Francisco, Brock Purdy's injured. It's never going to be a better time. He's not going out west. He's not leaving his kids. Like, what part of that don't you understand? And it's funny because I guess people see Brady in such a myopic way that it's all about football. But if you're paying attention, it's all about family. It's all about family for him. And I know that sounds weird with him, playing this final season, and people will say, well, that probably cost him his marriage. I don't know. We're not there. There's probably, if that costs you your marriage, following your passion like that, like Tom, of all people, Tom Brady, no, I'm not trying to disparage Giselle in any way, but just my personal opinion. If your partner can't support that, then, are they really in it for you? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. So I think I don't think him playing this year cost him his marriage. There was probably, some other issues there as well.
And I hate when people run to that.
Yeah,
I can't stand when people run to that because it's nobody's business and nobody knows.
And they're like, oh, you can't, prioritize family over football. No. There could be another narrative to that, and that's the one I'm sticking with. If your significant other can't allow you one more shot at the golden ring after all you've accomplished and all you've done, and it's not like she's at home changing diapers and making the meals and everything, and while you're off working, and again, I'm not trying to disparage Giselle in any way. It's just that to me from the outside, what I'm talking about is those who want to say, oh, well, he chose that over his family. It cost him his marriage. No, I'm sorry. I'm not believing that. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get your comments in, and I appreciate all of you, Richie P, Michael Hall, Pat well, not Pat. But all of you guys, we're going to get your comments next. We got some stuff on Twitter as well. If you want to comment, you can go on our YouTube channel. Just Google the JP Peterson Show. You can go there to my Facebook, WATB Facebook. Probably have a lot of comments over there we're going to try to get to. So stay with us. Quick break. We're back with your comments, your reaction, and we will look ahead to what's next for the Bucs as well. Stay with us. JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. they have everything right there in-house. So why go anywhere else? So you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and hopefully, I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Indeed, you did, Tom Brady. And that was his farewell at his final press conference right after I'd asked him a question.
Damn, does that sting even more now?
Doesn't it, though?
Oh, kept myself together, but that hurt.
I got a little emotional in the beginning of the show because, it really is the way that I feel that the GOAT chose us, and he chose us here in Tampa Bay. And that means a lot. I've said it many times, but I think it deserves repeating here. Because I remember when the day after Jameis threw his pick six to end his career, and he said, check your sheet. And I talked to Bruce Arians after the podium, and he was like, the kid doesn't get it. And you knew that they were going to go looking. They were going to go looking for somebody. And that night I remember, and we had talked about Brady leaving New England. I thought for sure that Brady was going to leave New England. Then later he throws the pick six to end his career there. And everybody's talking about, he doesn't have it anymore and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, looked at the film from a lot of different games that year. And I was like, he's still got it. He can still throw that 25-yard comeback to the outside from the far hash. I mean, he can still bring it. And he made some throws in that last game that were like that. He threw one down the sideline that was a frozen rope that had to go right in that cover two hole, between the safety and the corner. And I was like, oh, he's still got it. And he wants to play, and he wants out of New England. And you looked at the options, and I said, where better than here? Look at what he has to work with. And then you look at the coaching staffs, and you're like, he ain't going to San Diego. I don't think he's going to, or where were some of the other places people were talking about?
I'm sure even then San Francisco was always on the table.
Yeah.
But I do remember Chargers and Bucks. It seemed like the two big ones.
Yeah, and there were a couple other suitors. I mean, there were people that said, "Oh, there weren't that many." There were at least 4 or 5. And I said, "This is the best place for him." And I came on the show that Monday and said, Tom Brady, when he looks around, we'll see this is the best situation for him. And I think he's coming to the Buccaneers. I believe he's coming to the Buccaneers." And then I got an opportunity to play golf with Bruce a couple of times subsequent to that in January and February. And that just solidified my thought that he's coming here. And then when I finally got the word that the deal was done and we broke that story, it was, it's going to be a very meaningful part of my life and your life. The fact that he came here and played for this organization, we got to interact with him and we saw the greatness of Brady. It's like Sal Pal said, man, this is a once in a lifetime type of player.
Yeah.
And we got what may have been the best of Tom Brady. That 2020 season, when you throw all of it in, the numbers, the situation, what he had to overcome, the leadership, it took every bit of his talents to make that happen. And we watched it.
Tom Brady, I think he almost reinvented himself in Tampa Bay from a play style standpoint. Because I think a lot of people said, yeah, well, and again, this goes back to me being a big Rodgers guy. I would be like, why would you want to watch Brady over Rodgers?
Right.
I'm like, Rodgers is fun. He throws it down the field. He's moving all over the place.
Script,
I'm like, Brady just throws a bunch of little curl routes and little screens and lets his guys run. It's boring. Why do you like that? We didn't get that in Tampa Bay.
No.
He was throwing ropes.
Yeah.
Down the field.
It was a hybrid of the risk.
Yeah.
No risk
and the
no
Bruce
biscuit.
Arians offense,
Yeah.
we knew that was always I remember all the questions like, can he run a Bruce Arians offense?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, did it take a little bit to answer those questions in
Sure.
2020? Of course it did.
Yeah.
Right.
It was going to take time. We knew that.
But when he did, and what was it after that Kansas City game where they got absolutely blown out, but they found something in that third, fourth quarter.
They took the bye week. And
they took the bye week, and then they changed some things, right? And they rattled off.
Leftwich out of the way.
Yeah. And you rattle off 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And then I thought, and like I said, I thought the offense was even better the following year. And I know you had, look at beyond Tom Brady, because I know he's the big face of it, but Rob Gronkowski, the greatest tight end of all time, chose here too.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I know everything happened and it sucks. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but Antonio Brown is he should be, he's not going to be because of everything, but we're talking about one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Yeah.
He came here as well.
Like it was something special.
It was a magical time for these 2 years. Yeah. It really was. It went by far too fast. I'm sure it always does. But when we listen to that clip there, I think now that's what makes it more emotional is because I love this city. I'm born and raised here. And I know everybody has allegiance to their city. I get that. But I feel like Tampa got knocked for a while because when you think of great cities in the state of Florida, everybody talks about Miami and everybody talks about Orlando, and it pissed me off for years. So to hear Tom Brady say something like, I love this organization. I love this team.
I love this city.
I love this city.
Yeah.
It's a great place to live.
Yeah.
Those things that's what makes it emotional for me, I guess, is that the greatest football player of all time, one of the icons.
Take that away from us.
You can't take it. One of the icons chose to come here. That's to me, that's what makes it so special.
He wasn't traded. He chose.
And the boom of this city. We talked about this last week a little bit. The boom of this city since he's come here.
It's part of it.
And the winning attitude. The fact that he comes here and the Lightning finally get off the schneid and win the Stanley Cup. The Rays go to the World Series, which we didn't see coming.
That's
all
not
these
coincidence.
things happened in a grand period of time. And it started with Tom Brady coming here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no question. It reverberated, and wherever that guy goes, he brings excellence and brings everybody up, and it was a joy to be able to experience this at such an intimate level. Really was. And we thank him so much for that. I think it's going to be fun as hell what follows. Not the rebuild, no. But I'm just in terms of, somebody asked, we'll get to our comments now. Does he go into the Ring of Honor this year and retire his number? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
we didn't wait long for Bruce, did we?
No, we did not. No, we didn't wait long for Bruce, and we shouldn't wait long for Brady. He's the next one in.
100%.
Well, I mean, who
100%.
James Wilder? Okay, maybe sometime.
Rice eventually.
It's Brady next year.
Though.
It's Brady,
yeah.
And it's not even close. You want Tom
You know
Brady
what?
in
You
the
know
Ring
it
of
needs to
Honor.
happen.
You don't wait.
You know it needs to happen, right?
Statue too.
Oh, statue, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom, you already mentioned we got to name it Tom Brady Way.
Tom Brady Way. We got
Del
Tom
Mabry needs to
McEwen
be
Boulevard.
changed. Tom Brady or Del Mabry Boulevard needs to be changed to Tom Brady Way. Who owns Who is Del Mabry?
He was a war hero.
All right, well, screw
back
him.
in World War One.
Screw him.
Yeah, you can't do that. Well, how about it's, because it used to be Central Avenue and now it's Kennedy. Okay, because John Kennedy came here to Tampa and it was assassinated shortly after by our own CIA, we come to learn. Why can't north of Kennedy be Tom Brady Boulevard? Like, can we cut off Dale Mabry down toward Dale Mabry still exists down towards MacDill Air Force Base, which he has a connection to, but north of it is Tom Brady Boulevard.
All options are on the table. All options are on the table.
Or just maybe that, there's a street that goes, they renamed Tom McEwen Boulevard is like just between Dale Mabry and Hines. So that area on, Hillsborough Avenue, between Hines and Dale Mabry can be Tom Brady Way. There we go. Fix that.
That's what we do here. We solve
We're
problems.
done with that. All right, let's get to some of the other stuff. Yeah, and he'll always be part of our legacy. Oh, and what should his statue be? Well, first of all, we need to have one over by on Julian B. Lane.
Well, it's got to be the boat.
The boat.
The boat throw.
The boat throw needs to be there.
Hold on a second. He threw that to Cam Brate, did he not?
Yeah, and Gronk.
Cam Brate caught his last touchdown pass.
That's
and
right.
He caught the Lombardi Trophy.
That's right. So there needs to be one. That statue should be downtown where the boat parade was, so we can celebrate that.
I don't know. Maybe if you like the one where he raises up the Lombardi the first time and says like we did it or whatever.
Didn't his LFG really start in Tampa, or was he doing that in
He was doing that in New England, I believe. Yeah.
He was. Okay. I was going to say we could do that because that's a great pose. The LFG. That would be a good one. I'm trying to think of any other iconic. Him going up for the pass in Germany.
Right here.
No.
It's iconic.
Which he lied about.
It's iconic though.
Or
the one where he gets sacked and he sits up and he just spins the football and he looks like bewilderedly into the camera.
No, let's not do that.
Those aren't the ones.
No.
Or what about the one that TJ just showed? That photo of him and Gronk together. That might have to be a separate one because, in all respects to Gronk, he's not getting the same adulation as Tom Brady.
No, sorry. All right, so let's get to some of the comments here. Basin said, sorry. Oh, gotta get my freaking glasses on. That's so
Get
bad.
your old man readers on.
Yeah, let's see what made shape to say here. How about we just rename the entire city of Tampa Tampa? I don't think we can do that, but it's a nice thought. James says Brady made our line household names. Evans, Godwin should be thankful as well. Oh, absolutely.
No, Mike Evans is probably still thanking him like every single day for saving that his career.
Aaron Rodgers, Sean Payton, San Francisco, Miami decisions eliminated his preferred destination Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, are we talking about Aaron Rodgers? No, not today. Brady was even better in 2021, 43 touchdowns and 10 picks. I was a Jameis apologist, but when he threw 40 and 12 in 2020, I was over Jameis quickly. Yeah, kind of has.
I think we all were.
Kind of has that feel to it. Let's see. T. Corral says, "Great show, gentlemen. Thanks for the memories, Brady. I guess we're in the market for a quarterback. Not sure about the market. Not that great. Car probably will cost a lot. I think Brady got a new coordinator. Maybe the focus goes to a dominant run game focus. You can run the ball. It makes way easier for any quarterback to be effective." Yeah, I mean, if we're moving into the what do the Bucs do now portion of the show.
Oh, no, I know.
Which I think I'm going to save for the next segment. I want to keep going through stuff. Yeah, we got to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Can I get to this one real quick? Actually,
Sure.
Let me get to this one from Buck's Basement because me and him are thinking the same here. The only thing that bums me out is we won't get to see him in creamsicles, but hopefully they sell his creamsicle jersey this year. And speaking of the Ring of Honor, this was my grand idea. He goes into the Ring of Honor the day we wear the creamsicles. Please. And somebody needs to gift him his own creamsicle, and I need to see him put that on just once.
I think that's why. I think that's why he retired.
I could think of some.
He
other
wasn't going to
reasons
stand.
why.
He wasn't going to sit getting the jinx of that.
Yeah,
ridiculous creamsicle outfit that you guys so.
It's a lot nicer than a lot nicer than this pewter thing you're wearing here.
What did they ever win in creamsicle? Nothing. They had Loserville and creamsicle. Why do you guys love these things so much? You
don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand.
See, I wasn't here for.
You weren't here for creamsicle.
No, because when I got here, we started winning. I wasn't here for that BS. Josh Freeman wore a creamsicle. Okay, and so let's at all the quarterbacks, the crappy quarterbacks that wore the creamsicle, and you guys wanted to put the goat in a creamsicle, and I said no way, dude. That's loser. Only you long-suffering Buck fans have this affinity for this.
See it. I just wanted to see
listen, it's cute, it's nice, it's kind of fun. I get it, but for serious football people and the goat. The GOAT should never be seen in that joke of a uniform. I'm sorry. You guys, what redeeming value does it have? It's zero. The only thing redeeming about it is maybe seeing Doug Williams and Leroy Selman in it. That's about it. But the rest of it, you wiped out with the 14 years of mediocrity or 20 or whatever the hell it was of losing seasons in a row. It
is kind of funny.
It's like bring it back to McRib. Like who cares? It
is kind of funny. The other day I watched A Football Life with the Warren Sapp episode, and there's that video of him getting drafted by the Bucks, and he literally on national TV shakes his head and looks down when he sees he's holding a creamsicle jersey up.
That's what people that grew up outside of Tampa, like myself, we look at that as that's a joke uniform. That's the worst. That represents the worst of football right there. And you guys hang on. Why do you hang on to it? It represents nothing but Loserville.
They sell it.
As my friend, the great Steve Dumig would say, you bunch of goobers want to get this creamsicle thing. Get it. We got rid of it. Burn them all. You guys wanted to put Tom Brady in that damn thing? No. His royalty, his skin of shall not ever touch such a Loserville creamsicle
skin of royalty. What is wrong with skin of royalty?
Yes, should never be engulfed in such a symbol of Loserville. Flush that crap. What's wrong with you people?
Oh my God.
Buck's Basement is not going to like that little rant. Sorry. All right, what else we got here? That is something I will miss somewhat now that Brady's gone. Tampa felt like the center of the football world, which was very cool and special. Yeah, get ready, folks, because it's coming. I think Edelman used to say his dad would beam him with a fastball if he kept screwing up. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. Different times, folks. Different times. And, you can say what you want, but it produced great athletes. You've not lived until you put a fastball in your kid's ribs for choking up on them. Is that true? Is that a true story? Did his dad do that?
I have no idea.
You choke up on that bat one more time, son. I'm going to drill you in the ribs. The good news for us is you don't have to read my novel tweets going over my Brady's coming back to the Bucs. Yes, thank God.
That's the most significant thing that we got out of this today.
Thank God. Thank God. No, I can't talk about National Signing Day, Richie P. I love you, brother, but not today. Michael Hall, is this a continuation of a thought here? Or could it be that Tom Brady was never seriously interested in the Raiders and the reports were all one? Yeah, I can tell you that for a fact. He was never interested in going to the Raiders. This Josh McDaniels thing, I heard somebody on Get Up say this morning. I think it was Brewski, that it's, that connection with Josh McDaniels is completely overrated. Completely overrated. He was never going west. That's one of the things that I always chuckle at some of the national media. It's like, that's known here locally. And although I've heard some local folks, talk about it, but I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. Richie B says, if I remember right, Brad and many guys during his time used to do the same thing, deflate the football. We're going to go back to deflating. Yeah, absolutely. You deflate the football because it gives you an edge. And, and I always said that about Brady and Deflategate is, I want my quarterback going right up to the edge of what's legal and what's not.
Every great player bends the rules.
Of course they do, especially if they can get away with it.
Come on, Michael Jordan. Let's be honest. what Byron Russell or whatever?
Yeah.
Come on. He
Come
can say all
on.
the time that was a slight little that was a push.
Yeah.
It was a push. We don't care.
You do, within that echo of the whistle type thing, you do what you have to do to get an edge. I want my quarterback to win.
Stick it, JP, right here.
What's that?
All the Bucks Hall of Famers wore the creamsicle jerseys. Take that. Take that.
Why were they Hall of Famers? And Leroy Selman notwithstanding. Why was Brooks a Hall of Famer? Because of this, pewter, not because what he did in the creamsicle. Don't even try that, Michael Hall. Don't even try it. The reason, and let me tell you what, if they'd have stuck with the creamsicles, they never would have won a Super Bowl. Never, because that's cursed. It's cursed. No one can play like a real football player in that pansy color. No, can't do it. Stop it. People, goobers.
How do you explain 2008 through 2019 then?
What was that?
How do you explain? What do you mean? What was that?
Oh, you mean that?
How do you explain that era?
The pewter?
Wearing these pewters. I think that's why everybody wanted to go back to the creamsicles.
We're getting ready for Tom. It was all lead up to Tom.
Can we just agree though, while we're up, just real quick, last thing on the uniform, because I know you hate the uniform. Can we just all agree the only thing worse than the creamsicle was the alarm clock? The alarm clock was worse than the creamsicle, correct?
Yes, those numbers were awful. The jerseys were not great. No, terrible design.
To me, that's the
colors
worst era.
were fine, but that design.
That's the worst era of Bucks football. I don't want everything, all of it.
Yeah, that was bad.
Which Tom Brady let us out of, by the way.
That's right. Tom thought this: if you went to the best team in the league this year, there would be no guarantee that they would have a winning season next year. He helped their salary cap situation. I think Tom took a look around and said, I think more than anything else, he said there's probably no perfect situation, and I know that if he was coming back, it was to the Bucks, and I think it's nothing against the Bucks in their current situation. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it just had to do with the fact that he knew this year that he couldn't play anymore. He couldn't play getting hit, and it just was not going to work. And that last game in some ways was an embarrassment. I hate to say that on this day, but I think in terms of realizing his football mortality, I think that really came true. This whole season probably did, but I think he probably felt better at the end of the year, probably as good as he was going to feel. And then to go through a game when you did that, when you're going up against a defense like the Cowboys did and the pressure that he was under, he probably felt overwhelmed. Like there was really nothing that even he could do to help this team. And it was just time. I think that was very evident.
That's what I said. I think he has to really realize that, okay, he wants to win a Super Bowl if he's going to play. And as we talked about, this was an 8-10 team. There is no likely Super Bowl in the future for the Buccaneers right now. So, And does he want to be a part of, what's the point then? What's really the point then? Just to keep stat padding for no reason?
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. And I think that interception was embarrassing for him, and I think he didn't want any part of that. Anybody else ripping me here for the?
Everybody's ripping you for your creamsicle.
Oh, by the way, not Glenn Gutierrez hated the creamsicle jersey. That's right. I would say that in kind of closing, because we're going to go to where do the Bucks go next in this next segment. A couple things that I thought, God, if you missed the Brad Johnson, TJ Reeves, Sal Paolantonio back-to-back at our first hour, please go back and listen to that. That was just really, really cool stuff. The story that Sal Pal told about the Rex Burkhead, training camp where he just ran a wrong option route and Brady went nuts and went out. I saw that in practice a few times, and it was interesting to see. And that's another moment that I'll take away, watching him just dismantle the Titans defense in training camp where they were going 7-on-7. And it was just, him manipulating the defensive backs and his ball placement, velocity and everything. It was something to behold. I'll never forget that. As Sal Pal said it, leading by example, his off-season workouts, his attention to detail, all of those things that we heard about that when he came to the Bucks, right? Everybody had to bring their level up. Sal Pal talked about him taking the discount and not eating up all the salary cap like so many of these other quarterbacks have to do. Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers. And guess what? Your team is not the better for it. And
Yeah.
Tom knew that he could make more money outside of football winning 7 Super Bowls than you can inside of football winning 1 or none, right? Smart guy. I'm surprised more quarterbacks don't do it. I mean, he's the GOAT, and he did it. He set the standard. What more do you need to look at? And, if the NFLPA yells at you, I'd say, I'm just doing what Tom Brady did. Sorry. I don't need $340 million guaranteed to make me feel I'm getting my worth or getting my due. I'm about the team, and this is, give me 25. I'm good. Some incentives. We win a Super Bowl. Take care of me.
The ultimate team player.
Why don't more quarterbacks?
It's the ultimate team player, and we'll definitely get into it when we talk about where the Bucs go from here. But I know that there's a big cap breakdown too. I think even retiring on this day, he's really helping the Bucs out in their cap situation. Actually,
how does that work?
Well, I'll when we get to the next segment, I'll break it down.
Okay, cool. I thought Brad Johnson said he was like Darth Vader. I was like, where's he going with this? And then he said, because you could feel his presence in the room. It's like you don't even need to see him, but that door's going to go whoosh, right? It's for the Star Wars, and you're going to dun dun dun.
Which again, how the hell when he made his lone target trip when he was here? How the hell does nobody feel him in the area?
I think they did.
They had to have. He says nobody recognized him, but that's crazy to me.
I had to feel his presence. There were some of the other things I wrote down. Yeah, Sal said his greatest accomplishment was winning a Super Bowl in the pandemic. I said no, it was keeping AB on the straight and narrow for a whole year. That was his greatest accomplishment to get that done. Yeah, so many great things that and the another thing that Brad said was Brady gave you hope in the game that you could always come back. So defensively, you would keep playing. You'd be like, Brady's going to bring us. Because I've seen teams that know, they got no shot with their quarterback and their defense starts falling off. And it's like, we're not going to score. It
happened this past weekend in San Francisco.
Yeah. So, but with Brady, you always had that hope. So you stayed in the game, i.e. Super Bowl 28-3.
I.e. 5 of the 8 wins this season. Right.
And then, as an opponent, you were always like, if we give him time, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know that he's going to beat you. And there you go out and start making mistakes. And because, that's real. That's real. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and we're going to say what's next for the Bucs. We have some ideas, a salary cap situation. And here's it's a big step right now. You can go total rebuild, or you can try. There are some avenues to come back and be competitive. What do the Bucs choose here? And is Todd Bowles safe? I think it's a legitimate question now that Brady is retired. Stay with us.
To make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call, 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others, 888-325-0605. The PGA Tour is back. The Valspar Championship returns to Innisbrook March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of great golf action and a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Every tournament day offers something different. On Friday, we'll celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the wearing of the green. Saturday means Valspar Live, where tournament patrons will be able to enjoy country music superstar Darius Rucker with a free 90-minute show after the conclusion of play. And on Sunday, we're going to crown a champion. You don't want to miss it. Everybody will be there. Tickets on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss it. The 2023 Valspar Championship.
Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you, so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and Gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
The KC-8, here's the snap out of the gun. Play action fake, pass to Gronkowski. He's going to score a touchdown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Holy guacamole. He breaks the record. He's got his 23rd touchdown in the postseason from Tom Brady.
Holy guacamole. I don't think I've ever heard that. I've heard it on. Why did I just pick up on that? Holy
I haven't heard it either. Holy guacamole.
Yeah. Oh, great call by the great Gene Decker. That was I kind of felt like in the Super Bowl, that was the moment I thought we were going to win it because that was the first touchdown, right?
That was the first touchdown.
How about the ingenuity on that play? Gronk coming underneath the formation, getting open in the flat. Have we run that play since?
I was going to say, once upon a time, we had good scheming.
Like, seriously, have we run? I don't think we've run that play since.
You've been calling for you were calling for this play all year, I feel like.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm watching it in like slow-mo by pixel, and I'm looking at Evans just dragging this corner across the field with him. Gronk coming across the line. Frank Clark bites on Fournette. Look at him in no man's land, and Gronk's wide open.
Gronk's wide
open. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Tyrann Mathieu stops running right here and says, "Oh, F."
Holy guacamole. Wow.
What a time.
Fantastic. Welcome back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. If your car has been totaled in an accident, you do not think you got the settlement you deserve, call the Jeeves Law Group. Contact them through the website at jeeveslawgroup.com. Tell them JP sent you. It's a free call. You might have a case. Even if it was a couple years ago, you might have a case. So give them a call. Collect some dough. They'll get some dough for you. They don't want to hear from the Jeeves Law Group. They'll be like, oh, what, are you kidding me? All right, here's some money. So, check them out, jeeveslawgroup.com. All right. So as we look forward, you had a very interesting a piece of information on his cap hit because he did it today. It really, and that's the thing, but the Bucs really needed, they were asking Tom if they can make his decision as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And he could have taken a couple more weeks. There's no doubt about it. So a big attaboy to Tom, once again, doing what he's done his entire career, helping out his team. And he really helped out the Bucs in terms of the Calvary situation.
Yeah. And
explain why.
Yeah. I'll credit Josh Capo here from Pewter Report, who breaks down this cap very well. So if they sign him to a $1.165 million salary, a restructured contract for 2023. This will allow them to carry his contract at an $11.9 million cap figure through June 1st, after which then they can process his retirement. And what that does is his cap hit for 2023 will be $10.8 million instead of the $35.1 million.
That's what we've been hearing.
So that clears $24.3 million. However, that would all have to be paid then in 2024.
Okay.
So you would be pushing it down another year, but it gives you a lot of cap flexibility that you probably didn't think you'd have this year.
Plus, you just got $20 million more in the cap because it went up to 228.
Yes.
So you got $20 million more. You can save about $10 million if you cut Donovan Smith. You could restructure his contract too and save some money, but I don't know, at 30 years old, coming off an injury.
At this point, when Brady's not here, it's like you have, again, we've went through some of these scenarios. It's like, who do you want for this future and who do you don't? And Donovan Smith to me is right on that kind of like on that midline.
So there are a couple scenarios here. There are a couple scenarios that the Bucs could do. And number one is just tear it down to the studs, complete rebuild, sell off all your assets, trade anybody who's not going to be an asset in 2 years. And mostly I'm looking at, 24 and 25, 26. Those are the years you really got to look at. If you're everybody wants to be competitive next year. And I think they could be competitive next year. And this is the scenario. So if you do that, okay, you rework, you get rid of Fournette, get rid of Cam Brate, get rid of Suckup, some of the older guys. You can clear, and Donovan Smith, you can clear, what did we say, $65 million in the cap.
You could, if you restructure, like the Shaq Barretts of the world, the Evans of the world, the Godwin of the world, all those.
Yeah. So you could bring, Shaq back. You can bring Evans back. You can obviously Godwin's going to be back. Evans, Ryan Jensen, and still have about. See, if you're only going to take a $10 million charge on Brady. So, and I'm just doing it as we go. I'm looking probably about $50 to $60 million in cap room. And then you've got all your draft picks, right?
Yeah.
So the Raiders, it looks like they're going to they painted themselves into and he has a no trade clause, Derek Carr. So he can just keep saying no to trades until they release him. So you don't need any compensation to go get Derek Carr. And I'm going to tell you what, you bring in a new OC and you have Derek Carr here with these weapons, this offensive line and that defense.
Keeps you in the game.
You're winning the NFC South. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's the tough situation.
I would be excited. I would be.
Oh yeah,
excited
absolutely,
about that.
Absolutely.
Now you got to go find another tackle.
Yeah,
which you can find in the draft. We did it with Tristan Wirfs, which I that's a once in a lifetime pick. I get it. You can find a capable guy that could play right tackle. Luke Gedeke played right tackle, so we're going to give him a pass on his first year. We'll give him the Rondé pass.
I want to see him at right tackle since that was his position.
That's his position. You moved him to left guard, wrong side, wrong position, totally overwhelmed. Move him back there, you might have an asset. And if that worked out, and you've got, and I thought Nick Leverett played very well at the left guard position.
And also too,
he earned that spot.
Also, he earned that spot, but also too, he's going to have competition. Eric Stinney is still under contract.
That's right.
And Aaron Stinney was, I thought, a quality player before the injury.
Now we got Hainsey.
Hainsey, to me,
Hainsey can move to left guard.
He actually might be the leader at left guard.
So I think you could have Wirfs, Hainsey, Jensen,
Shaq Mason, and right tackle
and then right tackle could be Luke Gedeke.
But it's easier to find a right tackle than it is a left tackle.
You can draft one.
Yeah. So but here's the thing though with the Bucs, they have to be cap, and this is every team. You have to be cap compliant. And a good point by James here, by the way. Robert Hainsey played 4 years of right tackle at Notre Dame.
Oh, that's right.
But he was seen as undersized, so they moved him inside.
That's good. No. Well, listen, I will.
Yeah,
I'm fine with Leverett at left guard.
Yeah, you got to get. They're going to.
Hainsey,
yeah,
it gives you. So that gives you options without going out.
And the name of the
game
now.
Pick.
The name of the game is to get the best 5. It doesn't matter what their position is necessarily on the line. Get the best 5 players on that line. I think that's how it is now.
And that's a good offensive line right
That's
there.
a good offensive line.
And it's a much better run blocking line, and we'll have a different run blocking scheme. And we have a quarterback now.
That's what it's.
Derek Carr is not he's not Lamar Jackson, but he can waggle, he can bootleg, he can RPO, he can do everything that the modern offense needs.
Yeah. The thing though with the Bucs,
he's not the only one out there, by the way.
Oh yeah, you kind of are opened up to a little bit more. My boy,
Jimmy G.
I need to see what the OC situation looks like first before I evaluate Jimmy G.
You think there's a little bit of Jimmy G wanting to come and follow Tom Brady?
Listen, I love Jimmy G, but he does not want to follow Tom Brady.
I don't know if
he does not want to follow Tom Brady.
I don't know if he does. But listen, I'm just thinking about if you're a Bucs fan, the defense, I think defense needs some work. There's no question defense needs some work. But
what do you do about Levante David too now?
Well,
because here's the thing. You might say, okay, well, Levante David's 33 years old. The perception is you're not really competing for a Super Bowl anymore. What's the point of bringing him back? But I'm telling you, that position is so important.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, Devin White is still, to me, is a huge question mark 4 years in.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to look at the defense without a Levante David in there right now.
No.
Who hasn't really, in my opinion, shown any decline.
Right.
So.
And you got to do something with SMB.
Jamel Dean.
I think sitting Jamel Dean down in the last game, I just don't understand.
I think Dean's going to price himself out of the Bucs market.
He might. He'll be sought after because of his PFF grades and the fact, look, he can play man-to-man defense. It's hard to find corners that big in this league that can play man-to-man. Now his ball skills are, but he ain't an old player.
No, he's right. 26 years old, maybe.
But he needs to improve those ball skills big time.
Yeah.
And so listen, that's all I just said. Now, if Derek Carr wants to come in here and make $60 million, sorry, we ain't got time for that. Whoever comes in here is going to have to do a Brady and take somewhat of a cap friendly deal. And I'm not sure where Carr's situated. Now, if he gets released, his contract is voided, right? He's a complete free agent.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think if you're traded, the contract comes with you. But if you're released, then you work out a new deal.
Here's the thing, though, because like the Bucs and every team, they have to get cap compliant before the start of free agency. So even if they make some of these moves, like, hey, we're gonna cut so and so to get rid of somebody, right? And we're going to restructure all these contracts so we can get cap compliant and put ourselves in a good position. Before you do all that and you kick everything down the road again to quote unquote maybe stay in the game, go after it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have to have some kind of idea beforehand that maybe one of these quarterbacks might want to come here? Because it's a big risk to keep pushing money down the can, keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. If you still are if the only quarterback on the roster is Kyle Trask at the moment going into free agency, right? You kind of have to be really sold on one of these quarterbacks in free agency that, number one, we really like them. We think they can bring value. Number two, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach wants to work with them and thinks they can get them. Now, everybody tampers. We know that.
Right.
So, of course, these discussions will be had. But outside of a free agency quarterback, it's like, again, the Bucs are sitting at 19. There's not much you can really do there unless you move up.
We can reunite the OC and the quarterback that led the league with 5,100 yards passing.
You tell.
You know what I'm talking about.
You tell.
Todd Monken and Jameis Winston, baby.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up Stetson Bennett.
No.
Off my draft board, Mr. DUI.
Todd Monken and Jameis Winston together again.
I think you just made all Bucs fans just stick their finger down their throat. I think that's what you just did.
5,100 yards and lots of picks.
No.
Yeah, there are better options. But hey, listen, it's an option. It's an option that's out there. It's an option.
The other option is you go full stopgap year. Bowles is lame duck. And you go and say, you know what?
Take the $34 million charge.
You sign. How about this? Here's the stopgap option.
You trade Jensen. You trade Mike Evans. You get all the draft picks you can. Throw it down to the studs. And anybody that's not going to be a material great player in 24 and 25, 26 is And I'd hate to trade Mike Evans. I don't want to trade Mike Evans. I don't want.
It's too much for Bucs
he doesn't
fans to
deserve
handle
to be,
this offseason.
But if he's going to have to catch balls from Kyle Trask and we're totally tearing it down.
I'd rather see what happens.
I don't think the Glazers have the stomach for that. And
no,
why?
They can't lose all these players on one offseason. No. They can't do it.
Well, because you literally have a gateway to be very competitive in this division.
Yeah, you still do. I mean,
that scenario
Ritter,
I just laid out.
Yeah.
You're winning the NFC South. If you get in the tournament. And if you get in the tournament and you stay healthy and you're healthy at the end of the year, you got as good a shot as anybody.
Also, too, quarterback notwithstanding, do the Bucs still have the best roster in the NFC South?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
I think Carolina, we'll see, right? They seem like they're on the come up, but still a little bit away. They have the best roster in the NFC South.
Yeah.
Without the quarterback position figured out.
Right.
And again, I know everybody doesn't like – I mean, we talked about it. This division title was meaningless. But you know what? If Todd Bowles wants to keep his job, he's got to win football games.
Right.
I think he understands that. But the stopgap option that I was going to mention for quarterback is that would be the Gardner Minshew's of the world. Like a 1 year, $8 million, something really cheap,
Yeah.
That's a stopgap option.
Yeah.
A lame duck option. But in fact, of trading Mike Evans, I think the fact that he's already at the end here of his contract, he's got this last year, I wouldn't mind just holding on to him for this year, see what happens. You know what? Then he'll be 30, 31 at the end of the year. He'll be a free agent. Then you can evaluate where you are at if you want to then obviously re-sign Mike Evans or not. I think I'd rather go down that option with him.
Listen, with new OC coming in, with this offensive line that we just talked about, with these weapons, and I would say, listen, Russell Gage has got to be better. I don't know, you can save some money by getting rid of him, but he could be better. And, Scott Reynolds is talking about drafting a speed receiver. I mean, think of this offense. Just think what was Justin Jefferson was 22?
Yep.
I mean, think about this. At 19, you can get a damn good receiver. You're not going to get a Justin Jefferson. I get it, but you can get a damn good receiver.
I don't know. That's kind of they're all over the place now.
Yeah, right. So can you imagine this team with a Derek Carr or a Jimmy Garoppolo? Who else would you throw in there that might be available? Hell, even a Jameis Winston. You throw a guy that can push the ball down the field like those guys, and you get someone who's some semblance of a great speed receiver, and there's some great ones in this draft. You get that going. I think Rachaad White is a very good tailback. I think he's a lot better than people think he is because of the dysfunction of this offensive system. I think he's way better. So I think you can have a legitimate running game. That's an offense that should be able to score 24 to 28 points a game. And, if Shaq Barrett can come back and they can start playing defense the way we know they can, not like they played at the end of the season, sure, you're going to win the NFC South. And then who knows if you hit in the draft, if you go find some good players in the second, third, fourth, fifth round that can really come in here and contribute. You go find another tight end. Maybe it's another explosive running back that's even faster than Rachaad White. Because we need to add a little bit more speed. I like Devin Tompkins. I think Devin Tompkins was completely underutilized this year, especially in terms of his speed. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this team. I would like to see an edge rusher though. I would like to see, and this is where I would differ with Pewter Report. If the draft falls your way and you can find a really good edge rusher, I think that's something that you got to really consider.
Here's what I will say though about the Pewter Report mocks, and usually they get it right?
Yeah.
And I've heard Scott say this a million times, is they don't go into a mock draft doing what they think they would do. They go based off what the Bucs will do,
right?
Typically, and that's obviously what's speaking with the team. So I know that's early in the process, but all the Bucs players are there in Mobile. Scott's over there in Mobile. I'm sure he's got information on that they looked at everything and said, you know what? We need speed.
Yeah.
We had the oldest roster in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even without Tom Brady, take him off, I think it's still the oldest roster in the league. You've got to get speed. You've got to get younger. Obviously, you got to get better cap relief going on here. I think that might be priority number one.
This draft is huge for this team.
Yeah, it's
huge. Not just the first pick. It's all of them. They got to get contributors up and down this draft. So Jason Light, get on it.
Yeah, it's not. This is not the draft for the. And again, he could become into a really good player this year, but it's not for the Logan Halls that are going to have to.
No. And that kid's got to take a step up.
He's got to put on like 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah, he's got to take a step up. But again, edge rushing, where are we getting it from? Anthony Nelson is a free agent. Carl Nassib is a free agent.
And I just don't.
Shaq's coming off an injury.
I'm not sure what you're getting out of Shaq this year with the Achilles. It's
That's
always the year after you come back from the Achilles.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why, if there's somebody decent at 19, that's an edge rusher, because those are guys that are really hard to find. You don't find those guys, on the free agent market. You don't find them, rarely do you find them. They're hard to find.
Yeah. And if there's a player there that they think can be a day one contributor, I think Jason Licht is very aggressive when it comes to the draft. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten Tristan Wirfs.
Right.
If he didn't make that phone call to San Francisco, because they weren't going to get Tristan Wirfs.
Right.
If he didn't make that move.
Yeah.
So if there is a player like that, I think he'll do everything he can to move up.
I think it's critical because you got to have pass rush in this league, man. You got to have pass rush. And right now, the Bucs don't have it.
Yeah. I will ask you this, though, because I know quarterback is the big need now. Is there any chance, we haven't even mentioned his name, is there any chance Kyle Trask is under center week 1? Is that even an option?
Yeah. I think so because, look, you used a second-round pick on the guy. It was a low second-round pick. And I don't think and this is one of the reasons I'm really pissed at Todd Bowles for not playing him in that last game. You had a golden opportunity to see what you have. And you just – for what? What did you get out of that?
Well, I thought that told you. But I thought that told you.
Doing? What were you doing with Blaine Gabbert being in the game? That's the dumbest thing. This is why – if that's his Bowles' idea, if it was, I don't know whose idea it was, but because I said it then, I said it the whole week. This is not revisionist history. This is a golden opportunity to get some. You got 9 passes in garbage time against a foul. You learn nothing about this kid. Prep him the whole week. Get him. Say this is your game. We need to see what's going on. And Tom's like, "Well, I need to play."
But
shut up.
Here's
Tom.
the thing with Kyle Trask, though. How many games has he dressed in his career? 2?
2.
He's dressed 2. He's got 9 passes to his name, and he's worked 2 years learning whose offense?
The Brady offense, essentially.
The Brady, Bruce Arians offense, Leftwich, whatever. Now you're going to ask him after he's been trying to do that, and by all accounts, it hasn't looked great when it's been in a practice setting because the Bucs clearly have told you what they think about Kyle Trask, right? And then to have a new OC come in here, and now we're just going to all throw this on him. I think that option seems like that's like my lowest option I think I would get to is Kyle Trask being the quarterback in 2023. That to me is we have struck out all along the way, and we have no other option besides the fact that he's the only quarterback on the roster. That to me is as low as that option is. Because I think the Bucs have already told you what they feel about him.
Look, getting a Derek Carr to work with this team is a way better option. I'm trying to think, Garoppolo.
Well, what about the guys?
Derek
what
Carr,
about the other fringe quarterbacks who are on the trade market, like that are younger? Like San Francisco.
Give me some names.
What if San Francisco wants to trade? I mean, that's what we've been hearing now. Brady's retirement. I wonder if that affects things. But there was all these reports they wanted to trade Trey Lance, and that a 3rd-round pick would get him.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, just from a standpoint, and again, I'm not crazy about Trey Lance necessarily.
For a 3rd-round pick, I'll see what I got.
But if you talk about getting him in here and like develop him a little bit, and you don't have to have an expensive quarterback on the roster.
Kyle Shanahan thought enough of Trey Lance to give up 3 first-round picks for him, and what we've seen from him in limited duty, I think we've seen flashes, but nothing great. I would certainly take a 3rd-rounder.
I just thought of something.
What?
What if the Jets get Rodgers and we could just go get Zach Wilson?
No, hell no. I never thought he. I never saw the Zach Wilson thing from day one.
Mike White.
Bring him home.
Bring him home. Full circle.
Full circle. He'd be much better at Draymond James the second time around. There's some fringe guys out there. The Gardner Minshew's,
Taylor Heineke's,
see, for me though, the guy's got to have a high ceiling. If you're going to bring somebody in, they got to have a high ceiling. Like to me, Taylor Heineke has a lower ceiling, like all the
quarterbacks. Yeah, of all the quarterbacks that are like those fringe options that have a high ceiling still.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
Well, him, but a guy that's available, Sam Darnold. I feel like there always will be something there with Sam Darnold.
Boy, he showed me a little bit of something.
That's what I'm saying. There's always something there. Like he's a hell of an arm talent.
Yeah, he can run.
He can move. He's a hell of an arm talent. He'll be really cheap, obviously.
I don't hate it.
I like it better than some of these other options.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think I don't think for all the crap that he's been through, he's never been shown to have an attitude, right? He's always had. I think for the most part, unless I'm missing something or forgetting something, for the most part, I think he's been a pretty good soldier, has he not?
Yeah, he has.
Through all the crap and he's played with some crappy teams. He could have easily come out and said, It's not all me. So I think that's an option, sure. But I think Derek Carr would be the best one. All right, what else do we have to get to? Anything else? Oh, it is National Signing Day, and I guess USF got a big 6'8" offensive lineman that was going to go to Colorado. So congrats.
Well, that's great news.
And just as a punctuation, I know we talked a little bit about the Rays yesterday, and I was on social media yesterday. Folks, look, this is, Ken Hagan was on with us yesterday, and he said that Tampa is still very much in it. And, whatever's going on in St. Pete to me is a total, it's a joke. I mean, you're going to put your entire basket, all your eggs in the basket of the Rays, who have been nothing but bad faith negotiators. Good luck with that, Mayor Welch. All right. Our thanks to Brad Johnson, who joined us today, TJ Reeves, Buck sideline guy, and the great Sal Paolantonio. If you missed those interviews, please download our app, FanStream Sports, all one word. Tap that app. You can listen to it there. Just go back and listen on Twitter, on our YouTube, and also on Facebook. You can watch there, and also Apple and Spotify. You can subscribe and listen there as well. We will be back tomorrow with a live show, with more fun and frivolity, looking at what's next for the Buccaneers, and we will chat to you then.